Imagine, on a dark night, you're driving on a lonely Wisconsin road. You've been driving for hours and are starting to fade, hoping to find a rest stop nearby. But just then, something darts in front of your car, making you swerve out of the way to narrowly avoid hitting it. Curious to know what it was, you look in your rearview mirror. I don't know why I'm making this. But what you see is far more strange than you could ever have imagined. What seems to be a werewolf starts walking towards the back of your car. Terrified, you take off, with the beast lunging towards you and leaving deep scratches on the back of the car. This is the story of the Beast of Bray Road.
You started as Hulk Hogan and then you finished with a scream.
I don't know. I can't. I'm not. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the I'm Not Crazy podcast. Review the show. Can you do that, please? Can you rate it? I mean, how many fucking times do we have to go over this? We're 20 episodes. Today's episode 20. Can you rate it, though? I mean, it's about time. We got the lighting all good. We hit 20. We got this. Look at it. Look at how good everything looks. Can you rate it? Thank you. Review also. Leave the words. Make sure you go follow the TikTok, all that stuff. Welcome to I'm That Crazy Podcast. My name is Andrew Venor. I'm your host. And today I'm joined once again by Michael Robert Anderson. Thank you so much for being. And today we have a crazy topic.
Yeah.
Today, listen, episode 20 just happens to be the last episode of Monster Month, which, you know, this might come out in February. Sorry, guys. I work full time. I'm sorry. This is episode 20. Big episode. It's the end of the monster series, so I wanted to do something big and grand and scary as fuck. And today we're going to be talking about the Beast of Bray Road.
The Beast of Bray Road.
It is so fun. That's a word. So, how you doing?
I'm good, man.
I wanted to have you on this time because we did Flatwoods last week and that's aliens, and you're our alien guy. It was just a thing with Rich.
Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah, so I wanted to have you on to make up for the alien episode that you missed. So today I'm going to give you something that it could be aliens. We're gonna play it. I mean, we're doing a monster, so we're gonna play as it aliens. But
okay.
You know, we'll see how that goes in a little bit. All right.
How are you?
Thank you, man. So sources. Before we start the episode, which, I mean, I feel like I'm a little late for that, I just want to shout out a major source for this episode, the documentary, the Bray Road Beast. I have a really hard time saying it. I practiced that out loud. The Beast of Bray Road is so much easier to say than the Bray Road Beast.
The Beast of Bray Road. The Beast of Bray.
The Beast of Bray.
It's just a cheese monster.
It is. It's a big cheese monster. You got to take the crust off before you eat it. A studio called Small Town Monsters makes a bunch of documentaries about these strange beasts, and they were instrumental for this episode. They also made the documentary for the last episode for Flatwoods. I didn't even realize. I was looking it up, and I was like, holy shit, it's the same guy. And they do a ton of Bigfoot stuff. That's probably what you've seen. Yes. I realized after watching this stuff, I've seen their stuff before, which is, I guess, why it came up. But they're fantastic. This documentary is really good at showing what everyone thinks without taking anyone's side. It's really... I really like their stuff a lot.
It's hard to do, too, when
it's
it comes
cool
to
as
monsters,
shit.
Yeah.
As well as a bunch of old news segments and articles by Linda Godfrey. And the news segments, I don't know why I wrote it like that. They are not from Linda Godfrey. They are from, like, Insider Source and shit like that. And Linda Godfrey will play a huge role later in the episode. She is basically the John Keel of this story.
Oh,
she's great.
Okay.
She is the investigator that cracks open the walnut of truth. The documentary contains a lot that we aren't going to touch on today. So if you're interested in that and you want to learn more, go check out the documentary. It's called the Bray Road Beast.
You did it.
Thank you.
You did it.
Yeah, so there's some stuff in the episode that we're in the story that we're not going to talk about. It's, if I'm being honest with you, after a while, the sightings become redundant. I'm not going to just keep saying over and over. They were driving, they saw something, and then blah 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 happened. I'm not gonna. You'll see the details.
Mm-hmm.
I got the really interesting ones, and those are the ones that we're going to go over.
Okay.
There's a lot of story in this episode, which is a very story-heavy episode, so I'm really excited about it. Yeah. This first page is all prep to get into the story. So, the monster.
Mm-hmm.
So the creature is about what you would expect from a werewolf-type creature. We're going to say werewolf, but a werewolf is tricky. It is a wolf-like humanoid creature, because werewolf insinuates that it transforms from a human to a wolf and back.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not going to specifically put it in the werewolf category, but it is a dire wolf type of thing, if you would.
So
a bipedal dire wolf.
Is it like supposed to be
It's
big?
fucking real big, yeah.
Okay.
A large 7-ish foot beast, so it's 7 to 9 to 6, depending on the night, covered in gray-black hair. It was said to have a face of a wolf, a German shepherd, or a bear.
Sounds like an axe.
Which one? Name some names. Come on, let's really get in there.
The 6-foot one, the 7-foot one, and the 9-foot
one that had the face of a bear, German shepherd, and a dog.
Yeah.
While also being seen on 2 legs, this thing is usually seen on 2 legs or squatting. Okay. Though werewolf or werebear, as some people like to say, which I love that word.
That's so tender. The werebear.
Will be used a lot to describe this thing. Technically, it would only be a were animal if it was a human shape-shifting into a beast, as I said, but the description of the beast is similar, if not the same. So when the person transforms, that beast is basically what people were seeing. We just don't know if it was a human or not, you know. We just don't know. We just don't have that information. This takes place in Wisconsin. Though the accents.
Come on. The Beast of Bray Road. It's a fucking cheese town.
Yeah, that's fair. I didn't even think of that. That's fair. Yeah, this takes place in Wisconsin, so the accents are fantastic. We're going to get into a little bit later. I've prepared something for episode 20. First time I ever did this.
Oh, no.
I have a little bit of a audio segment that I put together. It's a 45-second clip of them just saying really stupid things in funny accents. So we're going to get into that in a little bit. So the story takes place in Elkhorn, Wisconsin, a town in a state that doesn't contain a single elk.
Is that true?
Yeah.
There's not
a single one. They are not from Elkhorn, Wisconsin. It would turn out that the name of the town was supposedly gotten because a settler threw an elk's horn over a tree. That's the actual fucking story.
It's so easy.
It's so stupid.
And then you get places like Louisiana. How do you come up with that? It's not simple. Is it Louis and Anna?
I was gonna say it was Louise and Anna. They got together and they had a baby, and it was named New Orleans. So that's funny, I guess. That sentence was supposed to come after the elk over the tree, but we didn't do it. So now it just kind of has no context, but you know. And though the town isn't specifically known for anything other than the Babe Ruth, I put Bray Beast. I don't know why
you said Babe Ruth.
I know. I can't say it fast. My B's don't work. And plus, I ate a couple Sour Patch Kids and I have a little bit of a sore on my tongue because the sour, it does that to your tonguey sometimes, you know, and I irritate it because I brush the fuck out of my tongue.
Yeah.
You know, this morning I got so far, I'm off today. So I was like, let's treat myself. So I got really far back in my mouth. Got all the way to the back of my tongue, right? And I have to do it when I'm off because I gagged so hard that I'm nauseous for 30 minutes after I brush my teeth, and I can't get on a bus like that.
I can just see you in the bed.
I gag. You have no idea. It's crazy. It's like my fucking toothbrush turns into Ron Jeremy. It's insane.
You know what? I'm going to be honest. The same thing. When I try and brush the back of my tongue,
I have a horrible gag reflex.
Yeah,
I have terrible gag reflex.
Yeah.
And when I brush my tongue every day because you're supposed to, you got to get the white shit off.
Yeah.
But going all the way back, when I have work, I can't.
You're not getting enough practice.
I appreciate that. Though the town isn't specifically known for anything other than the Bray Beast, Wisconsin isn't known for its cheese. I have no idea what that sentence is.
Hold on.
I have no idea what the sentence I just wrote is. And though the town isn't specifically known for anything other than the Bray Beast monster, Wisconsin isn't known for its cheese. What does that mean? I don't know what that means.
I'm going to say it's known for its cheese.
I think I meant to put Wisconsin isn't just known for its cheese.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. So let me redo that. Hold on. Though Wisconsin isn't just known for its cheese. I have to leave the original one in. I have to. I'm just going to fucking... In fact, Wisconsin is considered by some to be one of the most haunted places in the country, with a very large Native American presence, usually being blamed for cursing the lands and other various racist ideas towards the Native Americans. Because it's always like, they lived here, it has to be haunted, because they're fucking evil.
That's true, yeah.
It's insane. The area where the beast was sighted is also covered in cornfields, making the creepiness much higher because things are just darting in and out of cornfields. And, you know, you like signs.
That's literally the best part of Signs.
I know. You always say that.
Yeah, I bring it up a lot.
Yeah.
Everybody should watch Signs. If you don't watch Signs, I swear to God, I'm going to find your address, unlock your door, and kiss you in the night. Continue.
Wow. That's pretty up. That being said, the events take place mostly on the outskirts of Elkhorn, on a farm road named Bray Road, obviously, which, you know, you could have fucking deduced, Sherlock, which was basically the absurdly long highway leading straight to the Bray family farm, which was also connecting to, you know, multiple other streets. I just put also connecting, and then I didn't finish the sentence because I wrote this today. The streets, it was basically a very long street.
Gotcha.
The farm was directly in the center. And the only reason you would go down was to get from this street to this street because it had no other connecting street. It still doesn't. You can look it up on the map.
So it's just
a single
one end
street.
to the other.
It's a T at both ends, and the only reason people go down is to take a shortcut. So the only people that go down are locals for the most part. And these people use it as basically their driveway. That's how they described it. They said it's just a giant driveway on both sides. It's hilarious. Now with this foundation founded, it's time to build the house that will be known as the Beast of Bray Road.
Roadhouse.
The first sighting. Cue the music. Our story begins on Hollywood night, 1991. Oh, that's not what I meant to say. I said a hoe.
A hoe.
This is going to be bad after I get this out, though. A high school senior by the name of Doris Gibson.
Hold on.
I went to say high school, and then I saw school, and I just went a hole. You know? I'm sorry. It happens. My bad. While obviously jamming out to many of the legendary grunge albums of 1991, this is speculation, Doris suddenly hears a thud and panics, feeling like she hit an animal of some kind. During the second verse of Hunger Strike, again, it's speculation. I don't know if she was listening to that, but I want to think she was.
Didn't that song come out in 93?
91. Doris lowers the radio and decides to pull over to investigate what she hit. I can't believe that you would question that I wouldn't look that up. I can't believe you would do that to me. I can't believe that. I thought that I had more integrity with you than that. While looking for something in the road, Doris starts to hear the sound of running coming towards her, getting faster by the second. Through the fog, a giant figure emerges from the dark. She turns around and rushes back to her car and starts to drive. The beast took one more lunge for the car, but wasn't quick enough, managing to leave deep claw marks in the trunk. This happened. So here's the thing, right? Something attacked these people's cars. This is 100% true. This sighting would spread through the neighborhood, creating a little bit of a buzz. You know? This buzz would bring out other sightings, as it normally does in cases such as these. And that's when another group of students would come forward with a terrifying encounter with the Bray Beast 2 months before.
Those are stories, man.
So the first one is really creepy, right? Because it's like a fucking werewolf attacks your car. It almost gets you. You're out of the car, whatever, right? That one's scary. They progressively get creepier. And the last one is so intensely scary if it actually was to happen. 3 teens, Thomas Brichta, along with his friends, Scott and Chris, I don't know their last names, were on their way home from a wedding on a foggy summer night. They said it was late July, early August. While driving on Bray Road, one of the friends noticed something strange. They described a foul-smelling odor, which they compared to a skunk starting to overtake the car. Just then, Scott notices a clawed hand reaching out from the claw field. The fucking cornfield. God damn it, Andrew, get shit right. Finally, the beast appeared. Hi. They would describe the beast as large with gray and black hair all over its body. After being noticed, it started to again lunge towards the car with the boys taking off. Again, the monster would leave a scratch mark down the side of his car, which got reported by local news for a newly growing story. So, I am about to show you some audio, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It is not from this. This isn't the where they get the car, they show the footage. That is not where this is a different interview that I'm taking this from. I don't know why I can't get this fucking sentence out.
I'm having a stroke here. Oh my God.
What I'm going to show you is not from the interview I mentioned in the story.
Okay.
It's from an interview afterwards. It's a compilation where they kind of get all the people that had seen it up until that point into the story. Okay.
All right.
So we're going to get into the audio. I'm so excited for this because the fucking accents are great and they say such dumb things. Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
He was big and he looked intimidating. I was scared of his appearance. It had brought its right hand up, stopped, looked over by the car, real nonchalant, and made eye contact with both Scott and I, and gave like this sneer, like it was challenging us. Like, you know, what are you gonna do about it? You know, I'm here, you're there. If werewolves do exist, this is probably a werewolf. I'm bigger than you are. You can't do anything about it.
But with all the sightings, no one knew if it was man, beast, or even a combination of the two. One person simply called it God's mistake.
God's mistake. It's just somebody's kid on the street.
My favorite's the first one. His appearance was scary, and it was scary, and his appearance scared me.
And I had to say, of all the things, had to be a werewolf.
Yeah, if werewolves are real, that was definitely a werewolf. So if it gives you any indication by listening to that, the type of people that we're working with here, they're kids. When I say the type of people, they're children for the most part, right? The first one's a senior in high school. They are like 2 years younger. They just got they're like 17, 16, 17, whatever they are, right? Of course, you know, like most cryptid sightings, it seems to be that teens find it first for the most part, you know.
Yeah.
You know, not to mention it, every episode for 20 episodes, Mothman was found by two married couples.
Yeah.
Who, two of them were 17 years old.
Yeah, I remember.
Isn't that crazy?
They were
I
young.
know their names.
Yeah.
So they see the beast. It jumps at his car. It specifically striped, clawed through his racing stripe. He was really upset about that in the interview. He was like, "Look, it went through the fucking racing stripe."
I'm gonna have to paint that back on there. It's gonna be
different accent. It's more like, "I'm gonna have to paint that back on there." And lastly, we have one more major sighting, being arguably the most important, which we'll see why later. This could easily be one of the scariest sightings, as you will see.
I hope so.
You ready?
Yeah.
A young woman named Lori Andresi would once again be driving down Bray Road at night. On her way home from her job in town. That was one sentence, I read that strangely. While driving, she notices a very large figure in a ditch on the side of the road. Curious and thinking she'll see a bear or a deer, she slows down just to be safe. You don't know if it's, you don't want to dart in front of the car. As she approaches the figure, it starts to become a lot scarier. She sees a beast. Oh. She sees a beast.
She sees a beast. She sees a beast.
She sees a beast matching the earlier descriptions, and this time it's kneeling on the ground in a human-like way. It was said to have roadkill in its hand, eating it like a sandwich. Literally like this,
it's
just like
Jared from Subway.
It is Jared. He looked higher than he was because he was kneeling on two children. Suddenly, it looked up at her, staring her right in the eyes, scaring Lori enough for her to floor it and get out of there as quick as she could. So, she is driving down a road. She's like, "Oh, there's something on the side of the road. Let me slow down. I want to hit it." She starts to slow down. She looks, and it's a thing eating something like this, and then it goes like this and turns and makes eye contact. Fucking scary as shit.
That's uncomfortable.
Scary. Big red scary. Don't like it. So, these are the three major sightings. These are 1991, the first two, and then I think the second one is 92. I think it was like January, February, I think. So, these are the sightings that basically made the town start to talk. They happened in the order that I put them, even though the first one happened after the second one. In the order of how they were reported, this is how they came forward. So basically, Gibson came forward with her story, then Brickta came forward with his, and then after that, then fucking what's her face, Lori Andreessen came up with her. Andresi. Now we're gonna get into a very important character in the story. Okay, and she's very important because she's a very prolific paranormal writer in Wisconsin. She has written multiple books. She is really fucking cool, I gotta tell you. I'm kind of upset because she died at 71. She was kind of young.
Oh wow.
So R.I.P. to Linda. All jokes aside, her writing is really great, and she was really good at her job. And watching her in the documentary, when everyone starts to go crazy, which we'll talk about in a little bit, when everybody starts to go over like just really stupid fucking theories and stuff, hers are stay grounded in reality, and she's like a real person that actually believed that this happened eventually. But she's very just a cool lady. I'm just gonna probably cut most of that out. Linda Godfrey. That's her name, Linda Godfrey. Linda was a writer for a newspaper of the time called The Week. It is not around anymore from what I can find. And having grown up in Elkhorn, she naturally started to eventually hear the whispers of a werewolf spreading around town. After her being her being a journalist, she would start to ask many questions, eventually finding herself interviewing the witnesses of the beast, starting with Doris Gibson, the first sighting. So now we're going to go through a little bit of a play-by-play montage of how this went down, because I'm not going to get into details about her asking questions about stories. I just fucking told you, all right?
Okay.
Cool. All right. She would speak to Gibson, assuming this whole story was a sham. Gibson recounted the story and even showed Linda the scratches on her car. Linda found this very intriguing and still didn't believe it to be a wolf creature of some toy. She thought that it was going to be some type of like, she just assumed it would be a wolf or something. Yeah. But she saw the scratch and she was like, that is crazy for a wolf. She finds and interviews Tom Brichta. With him giving his story, Linda would say that she was always taken aback by the genuineness of the witnesses. But she felt like the stories itself, she just thought they really saw something. Like how I feel all the time is I think they really saw something. Do I think that they saw again, interdimensional moth creature? I don't think so. I'm kind of, it's hard for me to say yes, definitely.
They believe that they saw something.
They believe they saw something, which is, in my opinion, kind of more fun than an actual. I don't actually want Mothman to be real because that's terrifying. Yeah. I like to think other people get to see him.
Yeah, the mystery of it.
Even though let's be real, I'd love to fucking see Mothman.
Do you think he has?
Of course he does, man. You've never been online?
You've seen Mothman's?
You've never been online? Slenderman has a big old cock, too.
I don't look up Slenderman's cock.
Oh.
Mothman, maybe once.
It was by this point Linda's mind started to change. She started to think this crazy story was actually true. So that's when she started to seek out Lori Andresi, the clearest sighting yet. While speaking with her, it is said that the books on a nearby shelf flew off onto the ground for no reason whatsoever, freaking out the entire room, including the county animal control officer, John Fredrickson, who was investigating alongside Linda. So Linda was just kind of there to ask questions for the paper, and then John Fredrickson was there to ask questions about
You know who it was, though, right?
John Fredrickson?
No, it was the Native Americans that cursed the land.
Yeah, fucking... I can't believe why'd they have to live here first? Unbelievable. They're so inconsiderate. And after speaking to Andresi, Linda was 100% convinced that what these people saw was very real and not just their imagination. She felt like the sightings were way too consistent to be hoaxes, and the retellings were too genuine to be made up. Linda was sold on the Beast of Bray Road. This is the point, after she hears all that, she just says to herself, something happened, something had to have happened, I need to figure out what it is.
Yeah.
So, it's at this point that her and Andresi sat down to make a sketch of the creature as reference for what it looked like, and that is the picture that you see below. So now, it's kind of goofy, but at the same time, if you fucking saw that in real life, that would
terrifying.
Be horrifying. And you could see it's kneeling, right?
Yeah.
So it had dog's legs. So she said it looked like the legs were backwards, which is consistent of an animal. But she said that it was kneeling on its knees, which no animals do. Mm-hmm. It's not something that animals do. They don't have knees that support them that way. Realistically, we don't even really have fucking knees that support us that way. So it's that was really strange. So this is the more or less, that, and then you see the raccoon sandwich. Looks pretty good.
That's a raccoon sandwich?
I mean, not actually a raccoon sandwich, but it's the roadkill that he's holding like a big Subway sandwich, yeah.
That's a child in Jared's arms.
That is a child in Jared's arms, yeah. Once these stories all got into the papers, the story went national, like Hebrew. With programs like Inside Edition doing their own investigations. I had to. I just thought of the name. Other people started to come out from all over the area, even other counties, claiming that they saw the same beast decades earlier. Sightings from the 70s and 80s started to find its way to Linda Godfrey, who was not only convinced, but is totally obsessed by this point to try to figure out what's going on.
It's always the 70s and 80s when everybody's on loads of LSD.
Hold on, it gets crazier. So, I will say, right, loads of LSD, all that, all of the people that came out, they grew up in That was
it sounded almost like an instrument.
Yeah, that was they all grew up in a fucking farming town in Wisconsin. They weren't dropping acid.
Yeah.
You know, they were like, if someone was dropping acid, they were condemning them fucking in a barn somewhere. And then the unthinkable happened. An editor from a local newspaper, a county away, contacted Linda, claiming her father had seen the beast all the way back in 1936, leading us to one of the most bizarre sightings of the fucking story.
All right.
You ready for this?
36. I hope so.
Yeah, this is fucking scary as shit. I said the other one was the scariest. I lied to you. I wanted to pump this one up because this one's scary as fuck.
I'm not even going to look at it.
In 1936, Mark Shackleman was working as a night guard at the Coletta Institute, the St. Coletta Institute. She was saint-knighted? What's the word? Sainted? What the fuck is condemned? No, that's the other one.
Coronated? No. Yeah, right?
She was cauterized.
Coronated. That's when they become like a saint.
So she was cauterized. The Institute was known to have a few Native American burial sites on the property, which they had preserved and kept, surprisingly, with them being a stop for Shackleman to go on his nightly rounds. So they had like burial mounds. And while doing that, he noticed something odd. A large figure was kneeling on one of the grave sites, digging at it as if he was trying to find something. Once Shackleman shined his light on the creature, he was frightened by what he saw. It would seem the creature was also frightened, and they both took off into the darkness, going opposite directions. The next night, Shackleman decided to go back out of sheer curiosity, assuming that what he saw wasn't actually what he saw. But when he got back to the spot, sure enough, the creature was there once again. But this time, it seemed like it was also waiting for him, even turning to face him once he was close enough. The man then claims the beast said a mysterious word to him in an ancient language, before once again disappearing into the darkness. Another drawing would be made based on the description, and the drawing that you see down below is very, very similar to what it was. I couldn't find the exact drawing, but that's the most similar one I could find. So, extremely similar to the other one.
That one's kind of unnerving.
That one is creepy as fuck.
And it kind of waits for him,
So the word that he says, right? The word that the guy claims that he thought his father said was like galleon or something like that. And it's like a Bible connection, and we'll get into that at the end. It's ridiculous. It's so stupid, but we'll get into that in a little bit.
The word that it said was Rick James.
Yeah, I'm Rick James, bitch! After these sightings were published, Linda would compile them, along with her theories and knowledge of the subject, because she kept investigating. And then in 2003, she released a book called The Beast of Bray Road, Tailing Wisconsin's Werewolves. And it's a combination of all the work that she did. It's very good. Once again, she's a great writer. Go check that out. You can find it on Amazon. It's readily available. It's a really good book, cryptid-wise. The story would go on to be one of the most famous modern werewolf sightings in America, being featured on a ton of History/Discovery Channel shows. And sightings are still being reported to modern day. The last sighting was 2001.
In the same place?
In the same place, yeah. Though the beast has become much rarer over the years in this area, the people on Bray Road still claim to see it constantly. So, this is what the interesting thing about this cryptid is that this is probably the closest to an actual animal that we're going to get. Other than that last sighting, this is just an animal of some type. Somehow, right? We've never really gotten that close to like a real actual animal, because this could just be a big wolf or something like that. And obviously we're going to ask, what was it? But before we do that, I want to say, so there are other dog-like creatures, dogmen, that's kind of the word for them, dogmen. Yeah. There's the Michigan dogman. There's one from France of it was like 1783 to like 1786. There was a really crazy thing that I'm not going to get into because I want to cover that eventually. That one is fucking wild. Apparently hundreds of people died. Nuts. Yeah, crazy shit. I think that was just an animal killing people. We'll get into that full episode because I could be wrong. I read it for 6 minutes. So, there's a bunch of stories in history about dogmen and from other countries and stuff. This is one of the most common things that people see. It's almost like Bigfoot. Bigfoot, dogmen, and like flying dinosaur things or giant birds. Those are the three most common things. And they're the three that are the most realistic out of cryptids,
What was it? What was it?
I don't know. Well, now it's time to get into the theories of what it was. And as always, we're going to start with the most realistic answer and go all the way down to the spawn demon. Demon spawn.
Good.
Bear with mange. The most realistic answer we could give.
Honestly, yeah.
Unfortunately, this is not only the first theory I'm going to tell you, but this is the one that I lean towards the most, realistically. The creature has been described as a huge bipedal wolf-like creature, which sounds strikingly similar to a black bear with mange. Black bears are found in the area. They're not super, super common, which I think plays into it, but they are in the area. And there have been cases of black bears with mange in Wisconsin. All of that is stuff that I found. Google if you don't believe me. If you really think that it's more likely that it's a fucking werewolf, then maybe you shouldn't go online anymore. Maybe you should take a break. Go take a vacation and look at things that exist, like the ocean and, friends, if you have any left. So, a black bear is usually larger than a gray wolf, which the witnesses claimed it was too big to be. Mm. They said it was way too big to be a gray wolf. But a black bear would have been the appropriate size, making this the next best culprit. Throw in the fact that sick and or underweight bears have been known to walk not only on two legs, but very effectively. They walk, it's really creepy if you see a video. It looks like a person in a suit. Mm. With videos all over YouTube, again, if you don't believe me, fucking look it up for yourself. I feel this makes the most sense. Bears are also not very common in Elkhorn, like I said, making the misidentification probably much more likely. If you don't see bears often and then you see a sick bear and it looks like that, you're going to say, oh, that's not a bear. What the fuck is that? And if you look at that, what colors are it? Gray and black.
Gray and black.
Now, we're going to slowly stray away from real world, and we're going to get into the fun stuff. So now you guys can relax. Shut up, all right? Unknown animal / mutation. Another more logical answer for the beast is that it's a mutation of a wolf or a bear, which causes it to be larger and to stand upright for whatever reason. Though this is more logical than a demon, I feel this is something that would have been found, or they would have caught it within the 90-ish years from the first sighting. I feel like that's something that we would have found, a new variation of wolf in the middle of Wisconsin town. I feel like we're not talking about the Amazon. We're not talking about Alaska. We're talking about a town in Wisconsin where they're famous for their flat land that is very easy to see things in.
You could see just across fields.
Yeah. But to the opposite point, there are these types of sightings all over the world, and these sightings are still happening in the area on the farms of Bray Road. One of the farmers on the road claims that he and his neighbors openly talk about it daily, and they see it constantly.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, so they claim that it gets wildlife, like it went from scavenging to hunting, so it went from a roadkill to now every time they see it, instead of it going after roadkill, now it's going after their livestock. They claim it's taken full animals from them, and people have seen it happen. The guy, Jeffrey Epstein, what the fuck is his name? Fredrickson? Johnny Fredrickson? That guy, the county animal guy, he claims that he has been called out like an uncountable amount of times for animal mutilation cases, that the cops are just like, yeah, whatever, let's clean it up. And then they just let them go, which I don't know why the cops would try to cover that up. But,
there's no reason, but yeah.
Whatever. But yeah, so those two are the most easy to explain answers. The next one, werewolf. Here we go.
It's the easiest to explain.
Obviously, the next answer is the werewolf. As you heard earlier by Tom Brichta. If werewolves exist, that was definitely a werewolf.
Yeah, Tom Brichta would know.
Yeah. The story of werewolves goes back a very long time, with ancient Greek tales explaining the origin of a werewolf was a curse put on a man for boiling his son as a meal for Zeus. That is 100% true. Mm-hmm. Zeus thought that this was pretty fucked up and cursed him to be a wolf forever. Other stories have been around about shape-shifting entities that are able to take the shape of a wolf, because throughout history, wolves are seen with this lens of greed and violence and more or less like chaos, like unexpected chaos. Like you just don't know what a wolf will do next, which is crazy because wolves don't actually attack people. They hunt in groups, and they're very specific. Yeah. And they're not actually nearly, like, people don't get attacked by wolves nearly as much as you think that would happen. Yeah. They're actually pretty gentle. It's almost like we tamed them and made them into house pets. At some point.
What would we call them?
Wolves.
Wolves.
Yeah. If that would be cool though. Personally, I think this is fun to think about, but obviously not the actual answer to the story. This also takes into account werebears, the rougarou, the wendigo, the nagal, whatever you want to fucking call it. This goes for basically, this is how I feel about any werewolf type thing, like a person turning into a wolf.
Yeah.
or other animal. So now, it's an alien.
That's a good sound.
Thanks, man. Or / ultra terrestrial. So try not to be surprised. Aliens came up in the story. Who would have thought? UFOs have been said to have been seen before and after random sightings in the 70s to the 2000s. That is it. I really don't know where to go with this. As for ultra terrestrial, it's more likely in my head than aliens, but it's definitely still pretty far-fetched. Next one, native curse.
Oh, there it is.
Now, of course, there are Native American burial sites. There must be a curse. According to the small town, they believe the creature to be sent by the deceased and mistreated natives to haunt them for who did them wrong. Once again, native bad, good everybody else. Demon and even possibly Satan himself. Now I just want to get past these other ones because this is the fucking one. This one is so, this is so stupid.
I have to say, I think it's Satan.
So this might come as a surprise, but the small Midwestern town of Elkhorn has a rather large religious community, which paints the beast in a totally different light, and that the light of Jesus. There are some who believe that the 1936 sighting was the result of an exorcism performed in the St. Coletta Institute, and not only do they believe this, but they feel like they know exactly who it was.
Oh.
Yeah. They're like, oh, it's that priest.
Oh.
And it led to a rogue demon possessing the priest himself before eventually being cast out to find another host. Some believe that the demon didn't find another host and is haunting the land in its true form. And when I say some, it is 90% of the town.
So like 7 people.
It's 10,000 people. They all believe that they all believe it's a demon, to a scary extent. There was also the running theme in the town of satanic rituals being done to summon the beast, aka Satan. I think you just summoned Satan. This is the explanation given by locals for the supposed past animal mutilations that were also supposedly happening at the time. Remember the animal control guy I spoke about earlier?
I do.
Well, he not only believes that it's a demon, his full-time job is animal control. He believes it's a demon, but he also basically said that in the Small Town Monsters documentary that he thinks that law enforcement are also in the cult, which is why they kept covering up the mutilation cases, stating that they take worshiping the devil very seriously. Quote.
This guy needs a raise.
Yeah. He feels the mutilations have to be part of a satanic ritual and definitely cannot be animals eating other animals.
Well, it can't be animals.
Can't be that.
Animals.
Yeah,
that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen. Are you fucking stupid?
Yeah.
It doesn't happen.
The entire town thinks that this is true. They talk about it like it's fucking fact. It is so funny that they believe that this thing is an actual personification of Satan running around eating roadkill.
Unreal.
If it was the personification of Satan, why has no one actually gotten hurt? Like, he's really gentle. This is a good look for Satan. He's basically he's like the viral it marketing. That's Satan right now.
He's just trying to eat.
He's just trying to eat.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Wow. So in conclusion, I find this story really creepy, but I truly feel these people saw some kind of wildlife. The sick bear makes the most sense to me, being much more likely than a demon-human-wolf hybrid. As always, these people saw something, but that doesn't mean it's paranormal or mysterious. And that concludes the Beast of Bray Road. And once again, R.I.P. Linda Godfrey. Don't clap. So that's the Beast of Bray Road.
Oof. The road.
Man, this was a fun one to get into.
If they just open the road a little bit more, they might have less problems.
Honestly, I feel like if they just put guardrails on both sides, we're good.
Yeah. Why don't you go work for the city?
Because it's not hard to get. I mean, look at John Fogerty. Where the fuck his name is?
It Ain't Me.
Is that John Fogerty?
Yeah, it's Creedence Clearwater.
But yeah, so that's the Beast of Bray Road. Happy 20th episode if you've been watching for a while. Thank you so much. Can you fucking leave a review though? We talked about that earlier, remember? Rate it. I got nothing else to say.
Yeah, no.
This was so dense.
There's a lot here, and I have to go home and think about it.
Yeah, this story is super fucking dense. A lot happened, and I left out, no joke, 20 years worth of sightings.
I can imagine.
The book and the documentary covers a little bit more. The book covers everything. Obviously, I'm not going to get into every sighting because, like I said, unless you're super into the details, it gets a little redundant. It's just wolf, chase car, scratch car.
Yeah,
that's every story. And you know, like the intro story that I have, where imagine I just made that. I just based that off the other stories. That's not an actual thing that happened. So it's just, it's
build from
to
that.
tell the same fucking thing over and over. It's not necessary, but you get the point. Super interesting. I like this story a lot more than I thought I would. I kind of used to find werewolves boring, and I used to find the topic kind of boring because I was like, it's just a fucking animal.
Yeah.
But honestly, a bear with mange attacking things on the side of the road is scarier to me than that basically is a wolf man. I mean, let's be real.
That's a thing that we know can happen.
Yeah, that is an actual wolf man.
Yeah.
That is a real monster.
It's meant for a pig.
We found the monster, and it's an actual fucking monster. Who would have thought? Thank you so much for listening. Michael, plug.
MichaelRobertEnsign.com, Purple Cloud Entertainment. And,
So that follow him on everything. And you could follow us on TikTok, Instagram. We'll put more stuff up again. I know I fucking guess every episode I say, I promise you, the stuff will be up this week. Thank you again, Chris. Chris is helping out with that because I just don't have enough time. So I appreciate Chris. Thank you.
Yeah, Chris.
I fucking love you. Not you, though, Vin. Yeah, and not you, Nick. Yeah, my car broke. Yeah, all right, man. Unbelievable. No, we missed Nick. Nick wasn't here today. So, Nick, we miss you. I hope that everything looks good. You weren't here to see the debut of the lights, but you get to see it in its best form, the finished product. So, sorry I didn't use the video from the other camera in the last episode. I forgot. So, thank you so much for watching. Tune in next week where we're on episode 21. Can you do something for me?